Hey guys, Bella here, and in this video, I'm going to be attempting to explain the difference between compounded semaglutide, which is what I'm holding here, and brand name Ozempic, which is something that I've taken before. Now, I feel uniquely qualified to talk about this because I have been on both the brand name and the compound, so I'm going to try to explain to you what compounds are, how people access them, the safety of them, the risks of them, and how the price difference matters so much to most people in America given the current healthcare system that we are under. The first thing that you should really know is that semaglutide is a peptide. So, a peptide is a string of amino acids. Semaglutide is the main ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy. Ozempic and Wegovy are brand name medicines. They're owned by the company Novo Nordisk. Ozempic was branded for diabetics. Wegovy was branded for weight loss. They are literally the same. They're both semaglutide. They both come in pens and they're similar doses. A lot of people can get one but not the other, just depending on insurance coverage. A lot of people's insurance would only pay for it if they were diabetic. My insurance was initially paying for it, but after 2023, they said only people who are diabetic can get Ozempic. So I'm currently holding the compounded version. What does that mean? Well, it comes from a pharmacy. You do need a doctor's prescription to get it, and it is legitimate medication. However, there are people who are very concerned about the efficacy of it and the safety of it. From somebody who's been on both sides, I do understand those concerns. What I will tell you, just me personally, I have not seen a difference between the brand name and the compound. The main thing that is different is that this will come in a little vial and you'll have to get a needle and pull this out and inject yourself. Whereas Ozempic comes in a pen, it's pre filled, and all you do is turn the pen and then inject yourself. Either way, you're going to have to inject yourself, and either way, you're going to have to get the needle and put it on. The main difference is that the dosage is a little bit more precise with the pens because with this, you are drawing up the medication in a needle by yourself. So you need to be able to read the instructions very clearly. I use a telehealth company called Fridays to get this. So they send my prescription to a compounding pharmacy, and then the compounding pharmacy mails it to my house. So you may be wondering how much that costs because that is completely out of pocket. So Fridays charges $249 a month for any dose of semaglutide, Ozempic. So if you're on the highest dose, you will never pay more than $249 a month. They also have some plans where you can pay like 3 to 6 months in advance that are cheaper. But I do have a code right now, and if you use code Bella, you will get $100 off your first month. So it'll be $149 to start. And that can kind of let you know whether or not you can tolerate the medication and let you see how the overall process works. But I would definitely try that in February. I'm not sure how long they're going to run that, but if you use code Bella through February, you will get $100 off. If you're watching this video after February, you can just use code Bella and you should still be able to get some amount of discount. So, how are pharmacies allowed to sell bootleg Ozempic or great value Ozempic, whatever you want to call it? When we're under a national shortage, pharmacies can make essentially a copy of the medication. Typically, you'll see it compounded with some type of B12 or some kind of other supplement, and this is only allowed while we're under shortage. For the entire time that I've been on this medication, it's pretty much been under shortage. I've had people say, I can't get my medicine, the pharmacy doesn't have it, they're only giving it to diabetics. So if you have struggled with not being able to get it, the compound is even an option for people whose insurance may cover it, but if you can't find it, it really doesn't do you any good. I think the major risk with the compound is the same risk as the brand name, which is incorrect dosages leading in people becoming really sick. This can happen with the pen or with the vial. So basically, it's someone taking too much medication too soon. This medicine is meant to be started slowly, so it can slowly enter your system. The main concern that people have is that people are overdosing on it, which is basically them taking more medication than they intended to because they either didn't follow the directions, didn't read the measurements, or whatever. But the case is the same for an Ozempic pen. I know that people overdose on that as well. So, really, what that would mean is that you'd probably have to go to the emergency room because you're going to get really sick. I don't think that it's going to lead to any long lasting effects, and this risk is present for both regular Ozempic and compounded Ozempic. So, without insurance, Ozempic costs on average $968. If you get it from a pharmacy, you have a prescription from a doctor, and you want the brand name pen. So we're talking $968 versus $249. So basically, you can get 4 months worth of the compound for the same price that you can get 1 month worth of the brand name. So the thing about that is that if you can't afford this over the long term, you should not take the medicine. That I'm going to be transparent with you. Like if you can't pay the $249 every month for at least a year, don't go on it because it's not a quick fix. Like it's not something that you're going to lose the weight and then the weight's going to like stay off. You really need to adjust yourself over a long period of time. There's a lot of people who, like me, are choosing to stay on it like indefinitely as long as I need to be on it. It's very much more affordable at the $249 price than the $968 price. And I've even seen it as high as $1,200 or $1,300. Now, if your insurance covers it, it could possibly be $25. And so, either way that you access it, just know that you may need to take this for long term. So, figure out the financials before you commit to this medicine. Peptides naturally occur in the body, but when you're adding semaglutide as a supplement, what that's doing is it is slowing your gastric emptying. So the food that you eat is going to stay in your stomach longer, your digestion is going to take longer, and you're going to feel full for longer. So the same amount of food that you might have eaten, say it was 400 calories, you had a sandwich and some carrots, that food will stay with you a lot longer than if you were not taking semaglutide. I know this because I've lost over 40 pounds and I've basically been eating the same things I was eating when I was trying to lose weight. But for this time, I'm actually losing weight and it seems like my body's responding really well to this medication. Now, you can go back and watch all of my videos and see where I started, see where my face started, see everything about me has gradually changed little by little by taking Ozempic. And it's a drug that I would always advocate for, especially for people who are pre diabetic, because if you're on the road to diabetes, it's much better to do something about it before you develop full blown diabetes than to sit there and wait for something worse to happen. When compounds were first starting to come out and become more popular, you would see a lot of YouTube videos of people saying, know this before you take compounds. Are compounds safe? Bootleg Ozempic. And the news was really sensationalizing it. But if you look at the history of compounded medication, it's been around forever. It's not something that is new. It was just new when it comes to marketing drugs like Ozempic or semaglutide. So basically, all you need to know is that semaglutide is a peptide. Semaglutide is the active ingredient in both Ozempic and Wegovy. Semaglutide is a GLP-1 medication, which means that it can help regulate your blood sugar and keep you full. It can also keep that food noise away. So if you're like me and you struggled constantly with thinking like, what am I going to eat? Ooh, I'm so hungry. I can't wait to eat again. If you have that little goblin in your brain that's saying like you're always hungry, semaglutide will help you with that. If you're interested in starting this, just know you do not need to go to a local doctor. You do not need to tell anyone or ask anyone. You do not need to like make it a big thing. You can literally just click the links in the description, go fill out some paperwork and see if you qualify. Typically, as long as you're overweight or obese, you're going to qualify if you don't have any of the pre-existing conditions like something major. Obviously, being treated by a telehealth provider is different than being treated by a doctor, but I've found that being treated by a doctor for weight loss locally has been at best awkward and at worst humiliating. So, I mean, I just have no desire to go back to any local doctor for this medication. In my area, they've also made it a business locally to sell the injections weekly. So people would have to come to a clinic every week and get their injection. So if that's something that you've been doing and you don't want that hassle anymore, you can order this and it will be enough for 1 month. You'll get the needles, you'll get all the meds, you'll measure it out yourself, and it's extremely convenient compared to having to go wait in a doctor's office every week. The peptide community has been around for a long time. If you look into bodybuilding and things like that, you'll find that peptides are very popular to be used as a tool. So if you are looking to do a little bit more research on this, look up the concept of semaglutide as a peptide, look at compounding pharmacies, and look at how they're regulated because they're also state regulated. They're just not FDA regulated. And so we know the FDA always has our best interests in mind, right? Like, sarcasm. The FDA is also working within the bounds of capitalism. So if you see the FDA protecting someone's interests, it's usually going to be the interests of a business, not the interests of the American people. So as long as this medication is outrageously priced, I will advocate for people accessing the compound. I think that the compound has been effective and safe for me, and it's something that I would recommend to anyone who can't afford Ozempic. It's just not feasible for most people given the current system that we are under. Hopefully, this explanation made sense to you. What is the difference between Ozempic and compounded semaglutide? Ozempic is a brand name medicine owned by a gigantic corporation, and they are trying to protect it at all costs because they do not want people to be able to get it cheaper. They want to inflate the price, and they want to be the only supplier. So, in order to combat that, compounding pharmacies have been able to make it as long as it is under a shortage. Like I said, this medicine has completely changed my life. It has made my body so much healthier, made me feel better, made my mind more sharp and able to tackle things because I'm not constantly thinking about food. So if you're interested in it, you can ask me any question that you want and I will do my best to answer. I hope that the video was helpful and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.